Hey guys, Mr. Crazy here, and this is a video I wanted to do for a while now. It's just something I've noticed about the landscape of comics that I like to talk about. And I know it's just people's opinion, and I shouldn't take it too seriously. But then again, I think they're also taking it too seriously, so I'm going to interject with my opinion. I think people are taking this medium of comics too seriously, and I think we all just need to get along and stop complaining and judging people for what they like. For example, the first video I'm going to talk about is from a guy that says A Death in the Family is racist. Let's take a look at that.
Batman: A Death in the Family is one of the most iconic comic books of all time, but it's also kind of insane. You see, in the comic book, after killing Jason Todd, the Joker gets diplomatic immunity from Batman by becoming the United Nations ambassador for Iran. What? Reading this in 2024, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But understanding this in context to the geopolitical relationship between the United States and the Middle East in the 1980s, and it becomes apparent that the characterization of Joker in this comic book is a reminder of the persistent Islamophobia that dominated the US media space during that time. You see, in the 1980s, the United States cut its diplomatic ties with Iran after the Iranian Revolution and a hostage crisis. Tensions between the two countries were very high as the new Iranian government had a very anti-Western and anti-US colonial mentality. All the while, the United States was very active in the Middle East, as it was seeking to combat communism and implant its Western ontology into regional governments like Afghanistan. This ultimately resulted in a lot of bloodshed and violence. Essentially, Iran was a oppositional ideology to the United States, but there was no direct conflict. All of this to say that the foreign policy agenda of the United States benefited greatly from Islamophobia. You see, the Joker is the embodiment of pure evil and chaos. He acts with no other motive than to harm those around him. And you could very well make the argument that he is evil incarnate. So characterizing him as the new ambassador to Iran goes to show how Islamophobic the US media landscape truly was. Media sentiment wants you to believe that just like the Joker, Iran is a totally evil state that does nothing but benefit from the deaths of innocent people. And just like the Joker, they are driven by nothing but violence. Obviously, this is a mischaracterization of the status quo, but it benefits the US narrative. And I think there's also an argument to be made that Batman serves as a stand-in for the United States government. Both Batman and the US government are rich, righteous, Western forces that use their brute force to solve problems. So you have to cheer for the hero because they're gonna stop the bad guy. It's wild, right? It's totally insane. Batman is one of my favorite heroes of all time. And this comic is one of the most important comics of all time, and also one of the most important comics in context to the character of Batman. But the story is so unapologetically Islamophobic. It's not even funny. And honestly, I don't think enough people bring this up when talking about this book. So this is just my friendly reminder to practice media literacy. It's incredibly important to use critical thinking when engaging with our favorite pieces of media, because when our favorite media errs on the side of problematic characterization and racism, sometimes we might not even notice until it's too late. As always, hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks for watching.
First of all, disagreeing with Islam is not racist. Second of all, it's a comic book. Who cares? When I first read it and I saw that the Joker was made the ambassador for Iran, I thought that was hilarious. It was so ridiculous that it was funny to me. It's not racist. I'm gonna say it again. It is not racist to be critical of a religion. If there are things you disagree with, you have the right to talk about it. It's our God-given rights to have a conversation. I'll say the same thing about Christians. I don't think it was right that the Catholics made you pay your way into heaven. I think that's wrong, and the only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ. That's what I believe. But the main focus of this video is not my opinion on Islam or my personal religion. The main focus of this video is people taking comic book media too seriously. I think people just need to calm down and try to get along with one another. This moves on to the next topic of my video, the Snyder Bros. These people will not stop complaining, oh, Henry Cavill was better, Ben Affleck was better. You're fine to think that way, but don't judge someone because they like David Cornsweet. It's fine. It's just a movie. And if you're looking for my opinion on the Snyderverse, you're not going to find it here, because that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is people complaining. And then again, Same thing with the people that like James Gunn. They complain a lot too, but they're not as bad as the Snyder Bros, believe me. And back to the topic of racism. I've been getting into Tintin, and the way they draw Japanese people and Chinese people is not very flattering. But it was made in the 30s and 40s. You gotta expect that. It's just a book, and you're allowed to enjoy it anyway. There's one called Tintin in the Congo where he goes to Africa, and there are like natives with bones through their noses. It's not very flattering at all, but you're still allowed to enjoy it. And I'm not talking about enjoying the racism, I'm talking about enjoying the swashbuckling adventure. You're allowed to enjoy that. But if you enjoy the racism, I don't want to be friends with you. But if you enjoy the story, there's nothing wrong with that. I went to a Tintin group chat on Discord, and there was a screenshot of someone that said they banned me from the server because I enjoyed Tintin in the Congo. Why? The guy's probably not racist, he just enjoyed the adventure. And I haven't read all the books, but I'm pretty sure Hergé is going to be more open-minded about the way he depicts certain people. Because the books go all the way to the 80s, so he's got to learn. So don't judge him by the way he was in the past, and you're still allowed to enjoy the adventure too. So yeah, this is probably going to be one of my most controversial videos I've ever made, but I really don't care. If you want to unsubscribe because of what I said about Islam, that's fine. If you want to unsubscribe from me because of what I said about Tintin in the Congo, that's fine. But, I really don't care. It's just a book. You're allowed to enjoy what you like, even if it's not up to today's morals and values. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.